Summit County isn't an easy place to raise a family. Here's the challenge. Most of our jobs, 90% of them in fact, pay less than $50,000 a year. So let's talk about a family that's earning $50,000 a year. By the time they're done paying for their housing, paying for their health insurance, paying for their food, maybe if they're lucky they also have some money to pay for childcare, but by the time they're done with that, they're short $1,000 every month. So take a second, think about what that would feel like. For those of you that are parents, how would you feel if you knew every month you needed another $1,000? It's scary, and for many of our families, it causes extreme stress. For some of our families, it means that they can't stay here, and that means fewer employees for our employers. That means a less robust middle class for our community.
So I've been a Summit County resident for a long time. I went through the school system here. I remember my dad working 2 to 3 jobs at a time just to keep a roof over our shoulders. Fortunately, FIRC was there with resources and was able to get the extra push he needed to meet ends meet. He was able to apply for electrical assistance, food bank at times. I still remember sometimes not going to bed hungry, but just knowing that food was not something that we can enjoy most of the time.
We had an example at one school where a young student could no longer pay for his lunches. And because another student heard about that, that student went home and tried to get money from his piggy bank to be able to cover his pal's lunches. And that isn't a one-time story in our district. We have kids that come to school hungry.
Our manager that's in charge of housing shared a story of a family. They'd had to move 4 times in the last year. They had all 6 of them living in a 1-bedroom apartment at an affordable rent, but that apartment was put up for sale, and so they had to move.
I remember moving a lot, and every year for about 8 years, we had to move yearly. And it got to the point where, since we have to move a lot, all my personal belongings could fit in 2 boxes. And sometimes we will not even unpack just because we have to move the next year.
We have children who are sharing a home with multiple other family members who don't have a quiet place to be able to study their math or read a book. We have kids who are feeling with and dealing with the stress that their parents are under to try and make ends meet here in the community.
When a family is unable to afford all of its monthly responsibilities, it causes family financial stress. A family may need to sacrifice their food security in order to be able to pay their landlord their rent. Or a family may need to not pay the childcare provider in order to address the medical attention they need. All these experiences lead to families and children being at risk.
We know that when kids are in an environment in a family where they're experiencing high stress or they're struggling on other levels economically, such as housing or finding food just to sustain them, we know that that absolutely means that they're more likely to be in an environment where they would be, unfortunately, a victim of abuse.
When we look at some of the social emotional needs that we are seeing reflected in the faces of our children, you know, it's heartbreaking for our teachers, it's heartbreaking for our staff.
Having to worry about where you're going to live the next year definitely impacted me in school. It was tough to even make friends as a teenager, but having to worry about where I was going to live. This is challenging sometimes.
There are so many children right now who are reaching out to our school counselors and are working with our school psychologists because their behavioral health needs are very real. How do we help them feel safe in a school and in a world that doesn't feel so safe anymore?
So that's where the FIRC comes in. We're here to help parents learn how to parent when they're feeling such intense stress. Sometimes it's a struggle just to get out of bed in the morning.
Parents that participate in our program and are engaged in learning positive parenting skills are far more likely to reach out for supports when times do get tough, to rely on their networks of support that they've created within the community, and to access services when they need them so that they can really try to manage the stress in their own home environment, which we know leads to a better outcome for children.
I have 3 siblings, and FIRC was there, and they will come to the house and just do a lot of activities for them. My oldest sister tells me that she loves school. And in my opinion, I feel like those visits have to do a lot with her interest in school. And it feels nice to know that she's interested in just learning in general.
FIRC is there for our families every day of every week. I am so proud to call them a partner because they're there to make sure that our kids are fed and clothed and that they have a roof over their heads. They focus on the family unit.
One of the most effective ways that we're helping Summit County families stay here is through budgeting and family goal setting, as well as connecting them to housing resources.
The turning point for my family was when they finally found long-term housing and they had something less to worry about. And to this day, they feel really comfortable, feel like they're able to do more, and they just seem happier overall.
We also all know that strong families are the building blocks of a strong community. If we don't have strong kids, if we don't have strong parents, if we don't have strong employees, we won't have a strong community. And that's really what the FIRC is about. We're here so that everyone else can be here, and everyone else can thrive and succeed and dream about what they want for themselves, their families, and our community.
And now that I'm a father, I have a 3-year-old daughter, I want my daughter to be able to attend a safe school district. I want for her to have the freedom that I had growing up. Just in general, I want my daughter to feel safe in this community. I was fortunate enough to receive a lot of help from community members while growing up. It's my turn to help other youth or people around the community that helped raise me, and it's my turn to give back.